Hey folks, thanks for coming to Science today. I greatly appreciate you showing up, and I'm going to start off by saying thank you to the guest teacher who's come in and decided to work with us today. Huge appreciation, students, with respect when it comes to the guest teacher. If the guest teacher asks you to quiet down, please respect, quiet down, get going. But we're going to start off the class. Guest teacher, thank you very much for coming in today. I'm going to start off the class with making sure everyone understands our goals for today. We've got our standard objectives that we've been working on for the past 2 days. We're going to focus on describing the structure of water, and then we're going to head on over here to the idea regarding homework. Please remember, sea layer should be in the clear tray. Your vocab quiz and concept layer check-in repairs should be coming in at this point. And when it comes to the interviews, all of you should still have your copies of the interview, which was a half sheet of paper that we answered together. You should be practicing that at home, trying to memorize the answers to the questions to the best of your ability. We also do have a final test here on Tuesday of next week. So, our agenda, Mythbusters. I'm going to start off with a little Mythbusters video clip. If you've already seen it, that's fine. There's another question you can use for your journal entry, but after the Mythbusters, we're going to have students do the B4, Properties of Water Lab. Probably not practice interviews unless there's a ton of free time, and then finish with a clip on running on water as well. So let's get started here. This is going to be your Journal 5 entry. I know some of you are still concerned about missing a Journal 3 or a Journal 4. We will fix that when we get back. Just make sure you leave yourself a good 3 to 4 lines for Journal 4 or 3. But this is going to be J5, and the question here is, do you think it is possible to walk on water? Now this is mostly for students who have not seen the Mythbusters clip. If you've already seen the Mythbusters clip, I'd like you to go and explain what do they do in the video clip to allow humans to maybe walk on water. So again, the first question here is, do you think it's possible to walk on water? And if so, how? How do you think that they do this? This is your J5 journal entry. We'll give everyone about 2 minutes to go and enter this into their journal. Guest teacher, if you can keep mind on the time, 2 minutes. You can even pause this video right now and come back in 2 minutes. All right, go ahead, pause it. All right, here we are, back. So, hey, thanks for the 2 minutes there. Hope you were able to write some stuff down in your journal that's in the back of your notebook. And at which point now, guest teacher, if you do me a huge favor, it'll probably be the second tab right here, but it's referred to Mythbusters Walking on Water. So every time you open Chrome, you're going to see the YouTube video, Mythbusters, and Running on Water here, okay? All right, getting back to the PowerPoint. After the video has been watched, so pause the video while we watch it. But after the video has been watched, you're coming back here, and we're actually going to get ready to start the lab. All right, so students, I'm assuming you've already watched the YouTube video, and now it's time for the lab. When you walked in, there is a B4 folder over there that has an answer sheet that looks like this. And if you just kind of notice, the answer sheet has a bunch of blanks, double-sided, place for you to write answers, place for you to go and do some drawings. Big thing to note here with these drawings and these answers, they don't start with numbers 1, and you notice there's even a missing number 2 and a missing number 5. That's due to the fact that in the lab, the actual steps of the lab do end up getting numbered, and only the numbered steps that have questions are the ones that you're going to answer. So if you look here on the beginning of this lab, now this lab, the lab sheet, please do not write on this, but the guest teacher has copies of this. You're going to return the copies when you're done. But there's step 1, step 2, step 3, and with step 3 there's actually a question that you need to answer. Once you collect that data, that information, you're going to write it over here on line 3, which in parentheses says number of drops. So let's talk about supplies. In this first part of the lab, you're definitely going to need to go and grab a cup and some water. You got your sink right here. Go ahead and fill maybe the cup just a little, maybe a quarter to half full with water. The less water, the better, less spills potentially. So when you're done with the cups, you're going to dump the water out and you're going to put all the cups back here in this nice little row. We do have 2 cups of eyedroppers here. Just going to grab 1 eyedropper. You're going to use that. You're also going to need 1 graduated cylinder. It doesn't matter if you grab a tall or a small, but you do need a graduated cylinder. And if we do run out of graduated cylinders, it is okay to share. So keep that in mind. Again, when you're done with all of the supplies, you're going to bring them back and put them based upon the sign. We have 2 areas here. We've got a cup full of clean pennies and a cup full of soapy pennies. And so that's going to be where you put back your clean and soapy pennies. Please do not mix. That ends up screwing up the lab for the next class, and quite frankly, we want to make sure that we're respecting the next students that are coming in. At the end of the lab, in the second part of the lab, there's a portion where you need glass and wax paper. So here you are, you need one glass slide and one wax paper. The big thing to note, folks, when you're returning the supplies, the wax paper can be thrown out, that's fine, but the glass slides need to be dry. So this is where you're going to be using your paper towels. Now, paper towels are found on the center table of the room over here. So you're going to use your paper towels to go and dry things, put a paper towel underneath most of your supplies to keep things clean. And then when you're done with the clean and soapy pennies, return those. Glass slides return, and wax paper can be thrown out. So let's get back to the lab. So the lab does have you working in groups, individually, pairs is fine. You do have some areas where you do need to do some data collection. There's an area even where I'm asking you to do some drawing of drops. Please note the drawing occurs on these little ovals right here. This is kind of you doing a cross-sectional view on what you see as you're doing the drops. So please read the instructions because going backwards takes a lot of time. Let's see here. Got some questions down at the bottom. Do your best with these questions. You'll notice question here, number 10, is optional. I treat it as optional, but I also offer extra credit if you get your answer to be correct. So that's part 1A. You then head into 1B, effects of detergents. You're going to take a penny, the soapy penny, and I'm going to have the soap detergent actually up here at this stand of supplies as well. Just a teeny little rubbing of soap. Not a whole lot, just a teeny bit of soap, because you don't want the soap to take the place of the water, but just smear a teeny bit of soap on the penny. Doesn't matter the face of the penny. You're going to end up cleaning the penny when you're done, but you're going to run the same experiment and try and predict how many drops of water can be on this penny. Again, make a prediction. Again, collect your data. Make sure you explain right here. The question is why? Why do you think what you do? That should be on your answer for part 1B, number 2, right here. You should be explaining how many and why. All right. Then again, we've got an area for drawing, what you see with a single drop, half full of drops, and near overflowing with drops. You do have 2 questions at the bottom, numbers 5, 6, and 7. Do the best you can on making sure you explain what the detergent does. And then if you can, this optional part here, this amphipathic molecules. I do apologize for not being here to explain this, but by definition, amphipathic molecules are molecules that are both water-loving on one end and water-hating on the other. If you think you can figure out what's going on here with the soap and the water, by all means give it a try. Otherwise, if that's something that's difficult for you to understand, hang off on answering that question, and we'll answer it when we get back and we have a little bit more further in-depth conversation. All right, next part, 1C. Draw a drop shape on glass and wax paper. So right here it says wax paper and glass. This again, this is a cross-sectional view of wax paper and glass, and you're asked to predict if you put a drop of water here and here, what would that drop of water look like? Would it be flat or would it be balled up? Prediction. You're going to do the prediction. You're going to then make some explain why you think the way you do, and then you're going to try and actually do the experiment with the wax paper and glass. Then again, compare your predictions with your observations. Try to explain. Try to explain the discussion of adhesion and cohesion and hydrogen bonds. And last but not least, we're going to head to this part back here. Now it says here to choose activity 1 or 2. Now, time-wise, activity 1 and supply-wise is going to be a problem. So I'm going to recommend that we cross out activity 1 on this sheet right here. So go ahead and cross out activity 1 on this sheet. Just go ahead and cross it out. We're not going to use this right here. We will instead use this one over here, using for paper towel and 2 beakers, or 2 cups is fine too. Alright, so you've crossed that out. We're now headed back to the lab. It says here activity number 2. Now this activity does require 2 cups and 2 cups or 2 beakers. When it comes to collecting the data, we should use beakers because then we can measure the milliliters, but I have a feeling that a lot of people are going to get to this portion of the lab and there's only going to be about 5 or 10 minutes left of the lab, time-wise. So I would probably, if anything, recommend we hold off on doing this until Thursday. This actually would be a great activity to do with the extended block, so that's going to be E period tomorrow. So E period, this would be an activity you can do. I will make sure that you get some some beakers. I'll leave some beakers over by the sink. Grab 2 small beakers and a paper towel. You're going to roll it up just like this. you're going to put water on one side. It says 200 milliliters. That might be too much for the beakers. It might be more like 100. But I'd like you to put a little bit of a paper towel between the two, put water in one, and then you're going to actually time to see how long it takes for the water to travel from one cup to the other. And you've got this recording here for volume at 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, all the way up to 45. So that would actually be a good thing to take care of in the E block, extended block time period. So I don't think all my classes will get to this, but do your best, folks. And again, when you do finish, please return supplies. If there's not enough time for you to start this lab, it's totally cool to practice interviews, and it's also okay for the guest teacher to leave the last 5 minutes for, actually it's less than 5 minutes, but leave the last portion of the class, 3 to 4 minutes here, to watch this video clip on people running on water and some of the discussions that ensued behind it as people had to prove whether it was true or false. So teacher, please note it's 2 minutes and 17 seconds, so make sure you give yourself a good 3 minutes for that. Alright, so that's the bulk of the class today, folks. When in doubt, if there's spare time, you should be working on any of your interviews, any of your contemplative check-ins. You could be working on the B3 and the A3 worksheets. Those are all over in the folders on the center table. Again, folks, thank you very much. Have a great day, and I will see you on Thursday.